Hello, this is Samantha with Stamp School, and today I am going to show you a card using two different techniques with these new Faber-Castell Gelatos. I'm a big fan of these. They're a really fun new medium. You can watercolor with them, you can use them dry. There's lots of different things you can do with them. So I'm going to show you two different things today you can do with them. They come in a whole bunch of colors. I only have a few of them. I like to keep them in a little pale here, and today I picked out orange because I want to use this new Orange Fizz color from Stamp School. So I grabbed my orange. I'm going to be making a birthday card for my grandma who drives a red golf cart, and we're going to be using a golf cart image later. So I grabbed the red, and from there I filled in two other colors with a yellow and a pink, just to sort of get a spectrum of colors here. The first thing I'm going to show you is how you can use gelatos with an embossed background and kind of smear them almost like an emboss resist that you do with ink and embossing. It's going to be the same thing but with these gelatos. I did the embossing for this off screen just because it takes a little bit and can be a little bit loud. I used for my background Market Street Stamps Argyle background here. It's a new one I just picked up. And I also embossed my greeting that I'm going to have a little bit later. It just says, I hope your birthday is simply wonderful. Did that off screen, regular embossing. I clear embossed over craft cardstock. The nice thing with that is you can see where you embossed really well. Makes it kind of easy to tell if you got everything and to tell where your embossing powder is. I'm going to start off, I think, with my red here. So I'm going to uncap it. You can twist them up and down as needed. They're sort of like a lipstick, or I've heard people call them chapstick, and that's a really good description of sort of what they're like. They're kind of, if a crayon and like an oil paint had a baby, this is what it would be, and they put it in this nice little chapstick case to make it really easy to use. So you're going to uncap that, and you're just going to start smearing on your color. Because you're going to get a watercolor effect with these, you don't have to worry too much about how well covered you have it or how it looks. This isn't your finished product. We're going to smush it and smear it and have a little fun with it. I think I'm going to grab my orange. I'm going to grab my yellow next. And as you can see, again, it's not perfect. I'm just going to do a little smearing. I'm going to do orange then. And I'm just going to do a little corner of pink down at the end here. Now the best part with these two is I'm starting out a little light. If I decide I want it darker, I didn't cover an area well enough, you can always go back and add more. I'm also going to show you I contaminated, for lack of a better, kind of cross-contaminated. I've got a little red on my gelato here, and you can just wipe it right off. So you can't really contaminate these because it'll wipe off, take a paper towel or a baby wipe, and you'll no longer have it contaminated. You can just color it off on your mat or a piece of paper as well too, to get that sort of cross coloring off when you're all done. So these are really forgiving to work with. You don't have to worry about getting them smushed and mixed up. Now once you have this, you don't really want to leave it like this. And I like to sort of smush with my finger. Now some people prefer baby wipe at this point because they don't like to get all messy, but I have inky fingers all the time. And I just switched to a different finger. I want some crossover, but I don't want my yellow to be all red. So I just switched to a different finger when I moved on to the yellow. Now because my yellow is lighter than orange, I'm going to stick with the same finger. Bring some of that yellow down into the orange, and finally I'm moving one more finger and doing my pink, which kind of has an orangish hue to it now. There we go. Now you're going to wonder why we did that, why I went through and did all that embossing, is because you get to uncover the embossing when you're done here. Now I'm just cleaning my hands a little bit so I don't mess up my nice work here. I've got a clean baby wipe here. You can also use a bit of paper towel. I would make it a little bit damp. I have 2 little boys, so I have lots of baby wipes around my house. And as you can see, you just wipe off that color. Now you're going to want to go in the same direction again because you're going to be wiping it off and doing a little bit of contamination. Or mixing and blending, I shouldn't say contamination, but if you don't want your colors to mix and blend too much. Now the more you wipe with your baby wipe, the more you're going to wipe off those colors as well. So if you really want a thick color, be very gentle with your wipe because these are a watercolor medium, they'll come up with the water. If you want these to stay really dark, go for a drier thing like a paper towel to wipe and smush your stuff off. As you can see then, we've got a nice bright background for the base for our card. And I'm going to clean here so I don't get this all over my card. But you can see how easily those wipe up. And my baby wipe was already a mess when I started from wiping them off. And it still just wipes right off. This then I'm going to apply to my card. And I forgot my tape runner here, so you're going to see me use a little bit of score tape quick to apply this to my base card. Again, this is Stamp School's Orange Fizz I'm using. And I'm going to layer that on the base of my card. So I've got a little crooked here for you guys. Okay, so for my next step then, after I have this all pretty and ready to go, you can see how it wiped off of all my craft cardstock there. That Boss Resist really comes out. Next, I'm going to layer a piece on here for my actual stamped image that's going to go above my I Hope Your Birthday is Simply Wonderful. And what I'm going to do with this, and this will be our second part, another way you can use these gelatos. What I'm going to do here is ink up. This is the golf cart image from Dad's Tools. Now this is going to be a card for my grandma because she golfs too, so Dad's Tools isn't just for dads, especially with that golf bag and that golf cart if you've got golfers in your family. So I inked that up with the Hot Fudge ink from Pop Tones, from Stamp School Pop Tones. And I am going to give this a stamp. I die cut this sheet of paper ahead of time. It's just an Nestabilities label and it's just barely big enough. Now if you wanted to, you could emboss this image, otherwise you can leave it raw on the paper. If when you watercolor you really like to get wet and use a lot of water when you watercolor things, if you have any experience with watercoloring and know that, then I would recommend embossing it just so you don't fade out your stamped image, or using water safe ink, something like StazOn that's not going to bleed. Because I'm going to do a drier water on this, the Pop Tone Stamp School ink will work just fine. So it sort of depends on your style and what you have around and what you like best. I like this color brown, so I wanted to stick with this nice dark brown. So I'm just going to have to go a little bit lighter with my water so I don't make that bleed at all. I'm going to grab my red again. Now this is a direct to paper watercoloring that you can do with these gelatos as well. And I'm just going to add some color. Like I said, my grandmother has this wonderful red golf cart that everyone knows her for, so I'm going to color her golf cart red. And there are 2 different ways you can watercolor this, or 2 different things you can use to watercolor this once you've got it on here. When you buy these nice little color coordinated packs, these 4 colors I picked out today actually came from the same color coordinated gelato pack, and so they come also with a paintbrush. This is another color coordinated pack that I have. They come with these little paintbrushes, and you can use these. What you want to do is just get them a little bit wet if you're going to use them. If you have one of these, this is a really handy tool as well. This is just a little paintbrush filled with water in the handle, and you can, this little aqua brush here, I don't know if you can see that, but actually paints in water. Now that's going to be a little too wet for me, so I'm drying it off on my arm. You can use a piece of paper towel. I squeezed the water came out and I just want a little bit. And what I'm going to do is go over the area that I just colored. And that's why I didn't have to worry about getting too close to the edges, because I'm using my watercolor brush here to color in close to the edges and blend this out. And you'll get this cool watercolor look. What's really fun too is you can grab a couple different colors and go lighter in the center and darker around the edges and kind of blend in. Looks really great with flowers to get a pretty effect. If you're familiar at all with watercoloring with pencils or blending with markers, it's the same idea. You can mix and match and blend to get pretty colors and watercolor effects. Now, I have plenty of red here, so what I'm going to do is just pick it up and add it to this area here. But if I didn't, I could just color in there and add some more. And what I think I'm going to do for the seat and the front here, and see, it's simple enough to wash your brush off with these too. Wipe it off on your mat or a piece of, without actually picking up more stuff, on your mat or a piece of paper towel, and you'll get a nice clean brush to work with then. I think what I'm going to do for the rest of the golf cart here is add in a little bit of silver. And the cool thing with the silver here is it's a metallic gelato, and what you'll get then is a little bit of shimmer. Now I have to tell you, besides the red golf cart, my grandma is also known for her cow seat covers in hers. But I don't think I'm going to be making any cow seat covers for this. So I'm going to use the silver because it'll give it a little bit of shine and make it kind of pretty. And just give it a light bit of color here. And smush that around a bit. Now, this will take a little bit to dry. You're not going to want to go rubbing it with your hand and smushing it until it dries up. I like to let these things dry for a good hour or so before I start playing and smearing them, just to give you a heads up on that. I'm going to attach this to my card here, and I think I want to add a little ribbon under it. I've got my newest gadget I picked up is Imaginus's, I believe it's called the iCut ribbon cutter, and it's really cool. You just put your ribbon where you think you want it cut, and because it's a little thicker, I'm going to give it a couple presses, and you press that little button, and it not only cuts your ribbon, but heat seals it so it doesn't fray at the edges. And I'm going to seal this edge too, because that edge had been cut with a, and you can see it kind of steaming there a little bit because it gives a little bit of heat to it and seals your edge too. Now, I picked up this ribbon. I thought it might just kind of be cute sticking out behind my little golf cart here. And so what I think I'm going to do is add that on with a little bit of score tape. What I'm going to do is put a little score tape around the middle to fold it. And then I'm going to stick it onto the back of my golf cart here. I'm going to stick it to my hand apparently first. Alright, and then I've got it stuck to the back of my golf cart. And then to add my golf cart on here, what I think I want to do is use a little bit of foam tape. Those of you who are familiar with me know I love my foam dimensional adhesive. Adds a nice pop to your cards. This stuff is from Sticky Thumb. And one more piece. And the pack that Sticky Thumb comes in 3 different sheets. You get a circle sheet, a square sheet, and a rectangle sheet, all in the same package. Now, as you can see, I have my greeting on here already. I hope your birthday is simply wonderful. So I just want to add this above that. And then you've got your card. So we have the two different types of gelato coloring on this. One is the Emboss Resist, and one is the direct to paper watercoloring. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them in the comments section or to shoot me an email. And you can find this card and lots more at www.stampschool.com. Thanks for stopping by today.